All right, welcome to another Living Freestyle Game Dev live stream. My name is Kevin. We do this 2 times a week, Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings right now. You know, why do we do this? The way this works, first off, how's this work? Generally, we try to work this like office hours. If anybody has questions or whatever about Unreal Engine or game dev or whatever, hop in. Maybe we can stumble through those questions together. If not, no worries, because I'm just basically live streaming, making my own game, trying to get to a working prototype. We're doing this, one, just like I said, just to kind of get back a little bit, and also, I'm lucky enough to work in game dev every day, but at the same time, there's a lot of cool stuff I get to do at work, there's a lot of cool stuff I don't get to do at work, so this is a chance for me to stumble through all the cool stuff I don't get to do at work. And we are definitely stumbling, especially tonight, but I think I may have just found a fix for a whole bunch of things that were broken that I'm hoping that will allow me to show you all of the cool stuff that we've been working on. So I took a look through. I didn't see any questions in any of the last comments, and doesn't seem to be any so far tonight. So we are going to just get some stuff done. So let's transition over and take a look at what we've got going on. So there is something weird that is happening with our experience, where even though the experience is ready, I don't think the teams have been assigned. Villain Assassin, welcome back. Even though, how are you doing tonight? So even though the experience is technically ready, I don't think the teams are being assigned properly. And so all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all my characters started shooting me. And I'm thinking it's because we took out a lot of the lighting and everything from the level. I'm also added back in, doing all right. I'm actually excited to show you all some of the progress we made with some of our enemies. But I also, so I took out all of the lighting. It's just way more than we need right now, and also I was getting blinded by it as I was working. And then I also brought back our textures that we were using in the previous prototype we were building. And these are just, normal grid textures. Each of these, they're super helpful in the dev stuff because each of these represents, 100, which helps. And then it auto colors the walls versus the floors based on their facing angles. So if I were to, for example, take this and rotate it, see how it kind of starts to change depending on how it's facing. So I don't have to do any work, I just drop it in there and it works. So anyways, brought that back. I think that may have sped up our load times a little bit. And as a result of that, for some reason, enemies started shooting us, but whatever. So let's see if we can test this real quick. Once I know if this works and I'm not being shot. Is that guy gonna shoot me? No, we're good. Okay, so we can go back to this. So let's go ahead and bring you up to speed on where we were. We're gonna spawn 24 enemies. Just a nice round number. Okay, and then let's simulate this so we can kind of watch what's happening from above because it's easier to see. So what I did is I went through and I made it, and this is gonna take a second to set up because they each have to get a weapon before they Okay, so how can I get the top-down AI? So it's a top-down game, and you're trying to get the top-down AI to aim at the legs or the head? I mean, there's a couple different ways to do this. A lot of it, I mean, a lot of it kind of depends on how your targeting is set up. Right now, if you are just getting the pawn position, what that's actually going to return is it's going to return the center of the capsule. And I don't think you were around when we were doing this before, but originally all of our characters would shoot each other in the groin area because that's just, it was funny. One of our viewers kind of pointed out that all our characters were shooting each other in the groin, and so I had to do a similar thing. But there's a couple things. you can actually offset where they're aiming depending on how you're detecting. Like if you're detecting a hit with a projectile, you actually need to offset the hit. And you can do that based on capsule height, for example. You could do that based on, a bunch of different things. If it's a targeted ability, you can just get the socket locations. And if you don't have sockets, what you can do is the bones. If you don't have bones, like if you're looking, like for example, we detect headshots. And then to your point, if it's a top-down game, I don't know that you're gonna see the difference, like in the actual project. I mean, you might. Yeah, but set focus is just gonna focus on the capsule, and then your aiming is gonna be determined by whatever aiming system you're using, and so. And then also there's the detection, like are you getting headshots, are you hitting leg shots, or what are you trying to do? But basically there's a bunch of different things. One is if it's just a visual thing and actually all the work's done on the server, then you can do whatever you need to do to make it look like they're shooting them in the head versus the legs. And the server will take care of it. If it's a projectile thing, you actually need the projectile to go to the head or the legs, and that's a different thing. Okay, so let's see if we can take a look, and I'll show you what's happening with these enemies now. So the enemies are now moving in squads. Okay, and the way the squads work is basically they randomly choose a squad formation. So like these three, these are single file. These 6 or so are using rows with leader in the front. We've got a flying V right here. These dudes are flying V, and if villain, that's what we're here for. Like literally, the whole point is to hang out and try to stumble through stuff together. So, like, I'd much rather be answering questions than doing this stuff. So anytime. And if you need more clarity, or we need to kind of go through an example, let's do that. Like I'm happy to take a break and try to find an example of what we're talking about. You can see here we have a flying V, and then so basically there's a whole bunch of predetermined formations that these characters will use when they're in search and destroy mode now, which is cool. And so I think probably the best one is going to be random, but overall, it's cool because it's working. Now, the other thing that is worth noting is they're now jumping walls. Okay, so as they go from side to side now, they will actually jump the walls to get there. And if we just set up a whole giant melee fight, we can do that. Those are the kind of the big changes. We got formations working and the jumping of walls, fixed a whole bunch of bugs. Also checked everything into Perforce. Reason being was, I was getting kind of messy with Perforce, and we kind of need to be a little more diligent. The one thing that is bugging me a little bit right now is our icons in our health bars. They're red, and they should be purple. So I'm not sure why that's not working, so we should probably figure that out. Also, I'm going to get rid of the names again, because it's when I was just using them to try to debug. But the one thing I wanted to check out is our frame rate. You know what's interesting? Our frame rate is actually a little better without all the other fancy lighting stuff. Even with the 24 characters, we're seeing some 30s in here. That's good. Yeah, we could try that. Let's do that. So right now, we'll have to take a look at their aiming. Let's see. So Villain's asking if we can make these NPCs aim up or down. All right, so let's do that. First off, let's reduce our problem set. Let's go down. I love this. Let's do this. All right, let's go down to 1 on the enemy team. Okay. And then what's gonna happen is I also want to fix the health bar real quick, just so we don't have all that extra stuff. Initialize bar visuals. Nope. event graph. Let's hide this again so we don't have all that extra. Let's first spawn our test case. All right, so we have a red character. She's gonna run over there and pick up a gun. And then she's going to shoot me. Now, right now you'll see she's shooting me. It's kind of tough with her, so she's gonna go stand behind this wall and she'll pop up and shoot me again, hopefully. There we go. Now, the interesting thing about the Lyra module is that the aiming is, there's an offset in the aim based on the skill of the character. So even when I shoot, the first shot is straight, but the next few you can kind of see they're all over the map. But still, to your point, let's see if we can do this. So in our ability tree, let's just track it down. So at first I got to figure out how it works for these characters because I haven't looked at this in a while. So let's go back into fight. And inside fight we have shoot. And shoot is a whatchamadoodle. I forget what it's called. A service, I believe. Yeah, it's a behavior tree service. So we're gonna get our stuff, we're gonna get our weapons, we're gonna cast a Lyra, and we're gonna send a gameplay to weapon fire. Okay, cool. So for the pistol, I believe, or let's just look for fire first. Maybe we can fast track this. Weapon fire. Yeah, but he's not really. Yeah, so I think, okay, wait, so there's the visual. Okay, so there's the visual part of it. All right, so you're saying like shoot straight, but the bullet goes down. So the visual part of it, this is just a, what do you call it? A visual thing where what it is the aim variance. Is it, first off, are you talking specifically about a Lyra or are you talking about just in general? Because all of these, like the way these bullets are going all over the place, this is all determined by the drift, the aim offset that happens based on your abilities. So even I, as the player character, it's the same thing. If I come up to this wall, if I take the first shot, you'll see I kind of hit the bullet, the streamer, everything goes straight. But if I shoot a bunch in a row, you see how it's kind of offset? Okay, yeah. And it's offset in this particular game based on, they specifically have done that to add, I guess, believability to it, because you can't take a straight shot like that fast in real life. But let's keep tracking this down though, okay? So we'll discover a bunch of things as we go through this. All right, so what was I looking for? So we're in weapon fire. And in the event graph, all right, a lot of things happen when we fire. First, there's the shell eject. We don't really care about that. There's the trigger. There's the send the trigger. That's the muzzle flash. That's the send the trigger update. That's the Niagara variable. Here's our tracers. Spawn system attached. At the muzzle is where it starts from, and a rotation that is determined by a rotator of none. Interesting. Okay. There's our trigger, boolean, beam, and impact positions. Oh, I see what they're doing. They're probably, let's see here. The impact positions they're doing based off of how are these getting set? We need to find out where these get set. Reference viewer. Edit this guy. That's team changes. Impact normals, here we go. Impact positions. Get the socket location. So it's getting, this is where it's getting the muzzle. So this is where it's shooting from. And then this, they're doing fake projectile data. Okay, and then what they're doing is we're making a transform. We're spawning the actor with no rotations or anything. We're attaching the actor to skeletal mesh. Where's our impact positions get set? Oh, it comes in. It gets passed in. Okay. And we are already in B weapon. Bombs. Weapon impacts. Shotgun, rifle, where's pistol? Well, let's just look at the rifle. Maybe that'll be. Cross grenade, here we go, pistol fire, on burst, send fire weapon. Alright, so on burst. Fire impact positions come from the gameplay queue. Oh my goodness. This one is pretty deep. So let's trace this down. Gameplay queue notify pistol fire. Okay. And from the reference viewer from this. This is our pistol ID. The reticle and our ammo count. Somewhere in here. Here's our weapon fire pistol. Okay, so this is the damage, the trace, offsets. That's the fire. Item stack. Magazine ammos, weapon fire, info tag fire. I don't like that. This is fun. Okay. So basically we need to figure out where this burst is getting called from. And I think this might be in code, but I'm not positive yet. But location normal, these are impact positions and normals. And the reason for these are these get used as a way to put all the impact stuff on, like all the for example, when I shoot these characters here, I can show you what I'm talking about. When I shoot these characters, actually she can have that gun. I'll grab this one. If I come up to her and I shoot her, you'll see these like circles show up on her, like on her head. That's her chest. This is how these are placed, right? So they're using those impact positions to place the Niagara effects that are basically decals that sit on her skin. I think we could probably turn those off and she would still take damage though. The interesting thing is they are detecting head damage with her. Like if I shoot her in the head, if I can aim, you'll see she gets 36 damages versus 18. So it might be nice to figure out where that's happening too. All right, so that's fire, that's sounds, reflections, and whiz-bys. In case we hit nothing. Okay. Yeah, but this is all determined beforehand. This should all be determined in the shoot. Send gameplay event to actor. Find references. Yeah, she's not aiming at my head. She's just aiming straight at the capsule. It's exactly the problem you're describing. Reload weapon. Shoot, strategize. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. What? I'm looking for weapon fire. Hold on, where's the shoot task? Because the shoot is using the focus. Oh, maybe it's that simple. Hold on a second. Let's take a step back here before we get too far down the rabbit hole. If we go to our behavior tree and we're looking at shoot, she is shooting in the fight blueprint and she is setting the focus at the target enemy. Okay, so let's try to cheat this. All right, this is, we do have a BTS service that sets focus. Clears the focus. Interesting. But that's just focus though. Set focal point. What if we change this? Okay. Let's get the actor location. And let's feed this in here. And I'm also going to draw a debug sphere here. Draw a debug sphere because I want to know we're coming in here. Okay, and we're going to draw it. We'll make it about 40. Get it nice and pretty bright red so we can see it. This may break a lot of things too, but whatever, we'll see it. Well, I want to just see where it thinks it's shooting first. Like, let's just see if this works. But yes, if we add the location, we can add it. But if this works, then we can get offsets and stuff like that. So duration 2, 1. I know my way's a little slower, but just as a sanity check, I just want to see. Okay, so that's, okay, so here's problem number 1. She's setting, okay, so that was exactly what I was concerned about. She's setting it's working. It is working in the sense that the focus, she got lucky with that shot. What's happening is the controller, the AI controller is not actually moving. So what we need to do is we need to get, or we actually have the control pawn. So let's get that location instead. Now let's go here. Oh, of course. So that doesn't work. Hold on a second. Target enemy. This is what we want. The target enemy. There we go. So now her focus. Okay, so we agree. She's actually now focused on my chest. Okay. Now I think. Interesting. Okay. So if we go a little closer to her. The problem is she's using this whole thing where she's interesting. She still thinks I'm over there. Okay, but she's mostly aiming for the middle, right? Okay, so if we escape out of this though, okay, and then we come back in here, and then what we can do is with this, we could take this and cast it to, in this case, actually, I want to print this real quick. let's get the display name because I need to know if this is an AI controller or if it's a pawn. I'm not sure what the target enemy is, so let's just print the display name real quick. This will only take a second. B hero shooter mannequin. Okay, so it's an actual pawn. Great. So what that means is I can take this and I can cast, oops, undo. Okay, we can take this and I can cast this to hero shooter mannequin as an example. All right, and then what I'm gonna do with that is I'm gonna get the mesh. Get the mesh. It should be down here at the bottom. Okay, and then from that, I'm gonna get the bone location. Get a socket location, okay? And the name of the socket I want, in this case, I'm gonna use the head. Okay, so here's the head. Okay, and then the location now that I'm gonna use is from the head instead. And so as a result, our sphere should draw on our head. And that's assuming that the name of the skeleton is the head, actually. So if we go back, we take a look at shooter mannequin, and we probably fastest way to find this is to go to Manny Invisible, bring up this the skull mesh, and then take a look at the skeleton tree. Spine 5, clavicle, head. It is called head. Okay, so that's great. So we can kill this, and we do have the right name. We do still want to draw our debug sphere. Let's compile that, make sure it compiles. Yep, okay, cool. So now when we play, so the target point you can see now is the head. All right. Where'd he go? Oh, he's hiding behind the wall. This is another thing that bugs me about our setup right now. So that first shot, clearly I think it's a little bit higher than the head. But let's just test our theory. Let's make sure we're not, kidding ourselves here. And let's just add in an additional vector of, let's say, 50. All right, and the reason we're doing that is because I want to make sure that it is actually reasonably tilting up. So obviously the sphere should be above my head now. He's gonna grab his gun. And let's see where he shoots. Can't tell if that's higher or not. Let's go 150. There may be something weird about the aiming in this game, but at least we know we can get the position. Yeah, he's still reasonably shooting at me, so let's see what happens when he gets back to his spot. Oh no. Okay, hold on a second. All right, so we know where the point is, but there's more to it than that. I'm gonna remove all of this. Okay, no matter what, that was good work from the standpoint of now we know how to get that socket location, everything like that. But I believe do I want to keep that? I'm gonna keep that. Actually, let's keep that. Let's keep that. Okay, and then let's take a look at pistol. There's an aim. I think there's an aiming. critical damage to NPCs. When I do what? When I hit the head? Okay, so what's interesting, okay. The way this thing works is there is this aiming thing for the pistol. Where is it? Reticle? Is it in the reticle? No, it's probably not in the reticle. Listen for the gameplay. Adjust the weapon spread, visualize, eliminate. Okay, so that's not what we're looking for. This is the active spawn. That's the ability set. That's the weapon instance. The weapon instance. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. Okay, so there's the way this project is set up. Like I was saying, you can see here the spread in the pistol is all calculated by all these curves and stuff. This is all like tack shooter type stuff, elimination mode stuff. But I'm wondering where this gets taken into account. Because look at this. I mean, we got spread angle multiplier if we're aiming. We got spread angle multiplier standing still. Right? Then we have transition rates, spread angle crouching, spread angle jumping. All of these are being used somewhere. And then there's this heat spread curve where if the gun is overheating, it gets worse. Spread recovery, allow first shot accuracy. Like all of these things factor in to how this particular character aims, which is potentially a lot different than the way yours are. What did I do aiming in my last project? Where is it? Do I still have it up? I do. Single room. Okay, so this one, the aiming works based on where they're actually aiming, but I think it took away all their guns. So let's see here. How did I do this back then? Content, character, enemy, enemy. See if I can spawn them. There used to be this is gonna, I have not looked at this stuff in so long. Let's see here. Because this is going to be a little bit different way of aiming. That's our weapon. Begin play. We show our height or health bar. Oh, you know what? Is it in the strategize? No, it wouldn't be in there. Hold on a second. Show damage, I'll even destroy. I'm going to begin with our event tick. Weapon attach method. Find references. Here we go. Okay, so our enemies need to spawn with a random gun now. Okay, so we're going back way older school. All right, so I have a pistol. They're spawning with pistols or not. Now you can see they're aiming. When these dudes shoot, their shooting goes straight out of the gun, right? It's at the angle you're talking about. Because the way that aiming in this game works is different. So as they're shooting each other, for the most part, like, now, we'd have to take a look at how they're determining how they aim. Again, I haven't, oh, they seem very mad. I thought the aiming was handled. Aim. There's an actual aim offset. Yeah, so there's a blend. So this is actually, the way this one works is, and I don't know if this is good or not. And here's a couple reasons why, okay? The way this one works is the animation itself has, let me see if I can explain this. Okay, so basically if this is the gun, all right, the animation, based on where the animation is, the projectile calculates from that angle to its target, right? And so the animation itself is determining the offset. So where you go is basically determined by where the character is pointing their gun, as opposed to what typically happens in, like, for example, a server client issue where all of these things are important. The server will do a line trace from the character that's doing the shooting to some point in space. That line trace is like, did I hit something? And if I hit something, then what'll happen is it'll actually spawn the visuals that go with it. So, but it's all like, even without the visuals, you would have taken damage because the visuals aren't there. It doesn't matter, because on the server, you took damage because of the line trace. So then the way that aiming works in like a networked game might be drastically different than what I just showed you in this game. And so a lot of it really kind of depends on what it is you're doing. I don't know if that's helpful, but these are all, basically all you have to do is figure out what is determining your aiming. And if it is a line trace that's being done on the server, then you can just tell that trace to go to the head or the feet. If it's an animation, you need to tell the animation to tilt and offset based on the aim direction. Hopefully that's helpful. And just out of curiosity, I still want to find where all this stuff is being used. So let's browse to this and find the references. Yeah, this is being used by the weapon ID pistol. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Let's look at for something called maybe spread angle multiplier. Okay. Spread angle. See if this is anywhere in Blueprint. Compute the spread angle. What is this? This is debug weapon spread widget. Huh. Interesting. Okay, so if that's not there, then let's check the code real quick. Oh no, what happened? Everything disappeared. Okay, where did our code go? And then, let's see if we can make this all go back to normal. Code. Okay. So let's find the spread angle. Okay. Bake mesh. This is all lumen stuff. Stop. Current project. Huh. Dynamic mesh, sampling, shaders, ray tracing. That's engine stuff. Okay. Dynamic. That's all engine. I don't want to look in the engine. I want to look in, yeah, the current project. Let's just find let's try first shot. First shot. Oh god, sequence stuff. I need to find a unique enough name that I can find it. Let's try this. Spread angle mult. So maybe they actually named it the same. Oh, it has to be. No, it totally has to be, because if we go to our solution, this thing inherits. Okay, so this is a weapon instance base. And then this is a Lyra ranged weapon instance. That's fine, which is in code. Okay, so this thing has in it bullet cartridge, current spread angle. Has first shot accuracy. Find all. Okay, here we go. That's the reticle widget. I don't think this updates multipliers, gets the pawn, etc. Get calculated spread angle multiplier. Okay, where is this being used? Trace bullets in cartridge. Okay. Okay, so this goes through, gets the spread angles. Aimed-er. Okay, here we go. I want to know what this is. V random cone normal distribution from the input data aim direction with the half so weapon get spread component. Calculates the vectors. It results. It does a single bullet trace from the start trace to the end trace. And the end trace is determined by the start of the trace plus the bullet direction, which is determined by the random normal cone input data from the. Alright, so this is what we need to find. The input data comes from the F range weapon firing input. Okay, so where's this gets used? Ranged weapon. Input data. Okay, here we go. This happens in perform local targeting. Here we go. We're starting to get somewhere. That's the trace of the bullet. So basically, when we perform local targeting, we basically get the pawn. Okay, here we go. weapon data, weapon instance. Avatar and avatar is locally controlled and weapon data. We're getting input data. We're making one. We have the bullet target transform. So it's getting the target transform. Okay. And the aim direction is the unit axis, which is the X direction from it. So it's just doing that. Okay. So if we wanted to try this, and I mean, if I do change this, we have to recompile and rerun, which takes a while. But this targeting transform, let's find this. We're getting closer though. This is kind of what I was mentioning. It was this is in ranged weapon.h. Okay, so the get targeting transform, we can see what they're doing. They're getting this controller. They're getting the actor location. Okay, they're creating a quaternion aim direction. Checking, oh, they're using camera focal distance and all kinds of stuff in here. This is wild. Then they're calculating the aim direction based on the camera rotation vectors normal, plus the aim direction times the focal distance. Man, they're taking full-on camera stuff into account in here. Move the start and focal point up in front of the pawn. So what they're doing is get weapon targeting source location. Okay. Otherwise, move the start to the head position of the AI. So here you are, they're doing, this is exactly the stuff that you were asking about, Villain. So all of this, it's just, you just have to find where this is being done based on how your game is set up. So here, they're moving this stuff on the base eye height, right? And then we did source location, found the focus, that's the source location, and then the aim quad, right? So based on this, the way that I would have to, for this game, it looks like update the way the aiming works is I would need to update the aim quaternion. And in order to do that, because in the end, we're gonna return the aim quaternion and a source location. All right, so this is what I need to adjust. And what I could do it's literally just taking the actor's quad, right? That's how it's determining the aim. It doesn't even look like they're using an offset for the gun or anything. Which is why in this particular case, F transform, how familiar are you with C++? But basically F transform is the, you're talking about down here. This is this is basically saying it's returning a transform. Right, just the way, like, for example, this is a U-Lyra gameplay ability ranged weapon, and it's an F hit result. These are all, like, F hit result, F transform, these are all, like, classes. No, there's no bad there at all. But you can see, in this particular case, and I'm not even gonna mess with this right now, but basically, it's actually pretty straightforward. Where was that? This aim quad is basically the aiming. And I think probably what we would want to do oh, you know what's interesting though? So this is true of the hero, or the player. Why don't our pawns change? That's interesting. It's a really good question. So, okay, hold on a second. Let's just see if we come in here. Where is this? Okay, let's just play. See if when he picks up a gun and he shoots at me, if I hit that breakpoint. Okay, bingo, cool. So right now, the source pawn controller is the Horde Wars AI controller BP, and then we're going through check that it's not equal to a custom. The actor location. So it didn't find focus. It is a pull. It's not the player controller. Oh, this is the player viewpoint, that's why. Camera look source. Camera rotation is to get. Oh, it's just getting the controller rotation. Interesting. So the aim direction is going to be the camera rotate vector and the safe normal. Aim direction times the custom camera look. I see, so this is just basically putting it here, but we're using the aim direction, which in this case, the camera rotation is the controller's rotation, that's why. We could make this fancier by calculating, for example, a vector of the animation, right? It's not the player controller. If it's an AI controller, the camera location is the actor location plus the base eye height. And then it's going to return these two. And you can see there's no pitch and there's no roll in there. And this is going into the get targeting transform, which is called inside local targeting. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we could do depending on what the goal was. So for example, you can see here, the end aim is determined by the input start trace, the input aim direction, and a weapon data max damage range, right? We could also add in here, we could add in an offset in our weapon data, right? A simple just up or down. There's a lot of different ways. I think the bottom line is there's a lot of different ways you can adjust the aiming, and you just got to figure out how aiming works for your game and what you need to adjust to achieve what it is you're trying to get to. I'm gonna remove this breakpoint. We're gonna keep going. And actually that was perfect. I learned a ton about how the aiming works for this game, which I'm probably gonna have to adjust at some point because I really would like the enemies to be able to make headshots. Well, Lyra, this project is now based off of the Lyra project, and as a result of that, it has it's definitely a little more complicated than, because it's set up for full-on network gameplay, right? That's why. I'm trying to find where I put that draw debug sphere. Wasn't there, wasn't there, wasn't there. Here it is. So, okay, next tip. I'm like, what did I change in here? Could do undos. That would probably work. Let's see if that's gonna work. That is gonna work. But the other thing I can do is I could do a diff. What? Where's my source control? Oh, it's not connected. Connect to source, accept. I could do a diff in here with what's checked in, and this will show me what I changed. So especially in situations like this, where I'm like, what the heck did I do? I can see in the original, we just went straight from this branch all the way over to the set focus, and the false went to clear focus. So that's pretty straightforward. So we can just do this faster like this. And we're back to what we had before. And then I can also revert that. Okay. What were we doing? Oh, I know what we can do. We can go back to this. We can change these back to Team Purple. And I was going to show you all how this manifests. All the work that we were doing manifests itself as a team fight. So let's do this. And we'll just run this in simulation mode so we can just watch it all happen. Alright, so we've got 24 players on each side. And the first thing they're going to do is they're going to run and arm the cells. Oh no. This makes it interesting. It's hard to tell if they're even. Alright, hopefully they've killed that last red and then we can kind of see what's happening. Okay, but they're running and jumping walls. This crew is at least moving as a unit. You can kind of see. And when they get there, they've kind of formed up. That's cool. These guys have also formed up. And you can see them moving with their leader. It looks like we have a flying V right here. But they will adjust based on how their leader just. Now, okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. There's a couple things going on right now that aren't working. I don't know why these dudes are shooting each other through a wall. And we saw that earlier. So something's happening where for some reason they think that they're on the wall. And then we have this dude way back here stuck, but that's alright. Oh wait, where'd he go? Where'd the fight go? Here's the fight. So we have a couple things we need to fix. I think the shooting through the wall thing is something that we definitely want to fix. So let's simplify this. So many errors. Okay, we'll have to fix those too. So let's take our spawn points and knock them down to zeros. And then let's just spawn one red and myself's. So this dude's going to go run and get his weapon. Let's just make sure he does this properly. He should go jump behind that wall in a second because he wants to shoot from cover, which is cool. But see how you can hear him shoot? You may not be able to hear him shooting, but I can hear him shooting. He's still shooting even though... Yeah, he's still shooting even though he shouldn't be able to see me. So we need to figure this out. Why is he still shooting? Oh, he's shooting because he has a target. Oh, this might be an easy fix. We're shooting. Has line of sight is set. Okay, this must not be reliable. This must be off. So here's what we'll do. We're going to... We have our blackboard. Let's change this. Let's get an entry as an object. And then one we're gonna get is gonna be our target enemy, I believe it's called. Enemy. Okay. And then we are going to do a line trace. Let's see here, let's cast to Lyra character. Alright, if that succeeds, we want to do a line trace basically. Alright, and so let's do line trace for objects. Okay, and basically let's move all this stuff over. Alright, so we have our cells. So we're going to get the actor location, which in this case is the AI. And then we're going to have the target enemy, if it's valid. That's going to be the end. And we're going to be looking for let's make an array. And what we're looking for is we're looking for pawns. So if we do this and it's true, we're going to do our line trace. If it's false, we're going to go... I don't think we should send an event. We're not going to do that. Yeah, we're not going to do that. We need more room. So we can clean this up. So we're going to cast the target enemy. Then we're going to do our line trace. We're searching for pawns. Getting our actor location. Let's, we're going to do this in a second. So if we have an out hit, hold on a second. Let's break this result. If the hit actor is equal to our target enemy, can I do this? It'll let me do that. If that's true, then we actually have line of sight. So we can actually also update our blackboard as well. All right, so just cleaning this up so we can actually read this. Let's choose it to do that. And then let's say, if that's true, if that's true, come on, connect. There we go. We are going to send our event. And if it's false, we're not. Okay, now there's a bunch of things that can go wrong with this. We may be checking against the wrong enemies, it might hit a wall first, etc. And all these casting might fail, so we're gonna have to debug this. Yes, I am using AI perception for part of it. Let's see here. So then, if that's all true, then we're gonna shoot. Okay, and if not, let's do two things. Let's also take this as an opportunity to set a value as bool, and the value we're going to set is going to be the result of this. We could do it like that, or we could do it like this. No. If it's true, let's do this. Now here's the other reason why this might break. Oh, actually, now that I think about it, this might break a lot of stuff. I think we might be using line of sight to determine whether the characters should pop up or not. No, I'm not trying to predict the projectile's path. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to basically, because actually, hold on one second, let me just finish. If this is true, we have line of sight. If it's false, okay, let's just see if this works. So what was happening was, because the enemy oh, interesting, we did break a bunch of stuff. Because, wait, why would that be true? Okay. Come on, get off that wall. There you go. See, why is he still shooting? He shouldn't be shooting when he's crouched down there if he doesn't have line of sight. Where's our shoot? We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need this. We don't need that. Here you go. Here's shoot. I want this. Oh, he's out of bullets. Come on, for real? Here, here's some bullets, dude. Okay, resume. Okay, so line trace. Oh, it's false. Oh, but we're still going in. Okay, but hold on a second. What's the out hit actor? B hero shooter mannequin. And this is a, hold on. B hero shooter mannequin C1. Can't read this. Oh, come on. Yeah, B hero shooter mannequin C0. Okay, hold on. Wait, where am I? Oh, it moved me. Hold on. So this one is the target enemy. Okay, the target enemy is equal to the hit actor. In this case, the hit actor is what? Oh, wait, let me just... Wait, I went just through this. Oh, shoot. It's using actors to ignore. We need to ignore ourselves. My guess is the trace is starting inside this character. So, start. Make an array. And let's do this in here. Get rid of this break. Let's go again. Go get your gun. Okay, so she's shooting me. She runs back behind this wall. What? No way. Actors to ignore is C1. Does a line trace. The hit actors, what? Who? Oh, I'm an idiot. I know what it is. We should trace for all object types. Brilliant. Because what's happening is we were skipping. Okay, what was happening was as we were doing our trace, we weren't checking the wall. And so it wasn't stopping at the wall first. So this should do it. I mean, I said that last time too, but let's just see. All right, go get your gun. Shooting, shooting, shooting. Perfect. What? What? All right. It's a static mesh out, so that should be false. Oh, I'm still a genius. I've got this. See? We should not fire if it's false. Good job, us. All right. All right. 15th time's the charm. I think that's the new saying. Maybe? Compile and save. Check it out. Selected. A Morongo, welcome. A custom trace channel could help, but I actually want to know that the character can't see them because I don't want them to shoot when they're crouched down behind the walls. Go get your gun. Go, go, go. I am going to eventually have to make some custom trace channels. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Resume. Okay, so now you see me. Okay, so it's working. You know how we know it's working? Because he's not actually shooting at me. But if I step out here, he does. So why is this not working? The problem is the trace is happening from the center mass of the character. Villain, this was kind of what we were talking about earlier, where the trace source matters. So the start position doesn't work. All right, what we want to do is we want to get the mesh. And then from there, let's get this socket location of the head. And then we'll use that as our trace start. Reason being is then when he pops his head up, he'll be able to see and will shoot based on line of sight as opposed to the other one. So he'll grab his gun. He's not gonna seize me. Now he's gonna back off because he's gonna go find cover. Okay, and then once he drops down, he stops shooting when he's down. That's what we wanted. That's great. Okay, so now let's go back to what we were doing before, which was mayhem. So let's do 12 and 12. We'll do 12 on that side. And let's do a couple other things to add to the fun. Let's create a few more weapon spawners. Just to make this a little faster. I think the other thing we could do is we could just add pistols to everybody's inventory when they start for testing. It probably wouldn't be bad, but I also kind of want to keep an eye on, you know, are all these other bits working properly? Alright, and then we'll go back to simulate, so we can just kind of watch the fun happen. Simulate. Alright. Lots and lots of characters. We got a couple mixed spawns, which aren't ideal. Let's let this settle out. The red should die off. I don't know, they're not dying off that fast. There we go. Okay, so now our purples. We should have a bunch of fights going on over here, which we do. And they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're crouching behind walls. She's not firing anymore, which is cool. That was the problem that we were having before. It's sort of hard to see the formations. Given the mayhem. Maybe we can see it as they move back. Haven't seen that in a while. Oh, look at that. Okay, this is actually a bug. We're gonna need to fix this. Something's happened where they don't, my guess is the lead does not have a target. He's not in patrol, so they're going to the default position. This crew here looks like they're in single file mode. We'll know as he moves. Yeah, they're in single file mode. Alright, so let's go back and see if we can see this a little better if we drop down to 12 per side. Alright, so they're getting their guns. And they are in a flying V, you can see that. So they're following their lead in flying V formation. I'm trying to figure out what the other formation is. This is kind of what we want. It looks like the red crew is... It's hard to tell, they're just getting annihilated right now. Okay, what is going on with these dudes? I think this is going to be a problem for us to solve next time, because it is late and we are past time, but we did figure out some stuff, which is cool. I was able to show you all. Actually, I can see the error right here. Let's see. Is moving. Interesting. I don't know how that could be true. Where'd our message log go? Access non trying to read property, get pawn, return value. Form up task. So that's gotta be right here. It's kind of weird that I have to check it's valid just after casting to it. This is weird too. What is this? Blackboard. Cast failed. The location to check is squad formation move goal. Value. Hold on a second. Squad leader is valid. If it's not, oh, their squad leader got killed. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, that's definitely a problem for future us. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a second here to wrap this all up. So overall, we've got our squads. They're kind of like, you know, they're moving in formations and stuff now. I think, look, ultimately, I think what I'll end up doing is I'll bag the overall like flying V's and stuff like that, and probably switch to just random, but they will follow their squad leader. I think that'll just feel more natural, especially because when a flying V is too close to the walls, like the characters end up doing that anyways. But maybe in the event that like they're escorting the characters are escorting like a package somewhere, they might form up in that way. Who knows? It's cool to have that option if we want it. I was able to, you know, kind of update on all the jumping and everything we did, fix some stuff thanks to Villain and some of the questions that they were asking. We learned a bunch about our aiming system, which was very cool. Morongo, thanks for hopping in and offering ideas and thoughts. That was very cool. And next time, depending on how much time I have between now and Wednesday morning, our next stream is Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Depending, that's Pacific time. Depending on how much time I have between now and then, we will either end up fixing this AI problem where I think the leader is dying and then what should they do? Or, you know, we'll see. Maybe we'll start on the next thing, which we'll figure out as we go. So I hope you all have an awesome start to your week. Anybody who's hanging out in the wings, didn't chime in, thanks for hopping in. As always, if you do have questions that you want us to go over, feel free to come to the next Q&A and ask those, or throw them in the comments and ask, and we'll try to cover them in the next Q&A AMA, and we'll go from there. Sweet. Have a good night, everybody.